Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Sunday. I hope it's a fun day. Thank you so much for stopping by, whether you're watching now, later, whenever. Appreciate you being here. All right, people, Vikings fans and Seattle Seahawks fans, we have a few hours to go because it's going to be a mid-afternoon game for these two teams today. The Vikings are in Seattle to take on the Seahawks. And I was just clickety clacking over here before I started streaming because I'm like, okay, who's actually going to be the starting quarterback for Seattle? But it looks like it is going to be Geno Smith. But ironically enough, Seattle just signed Minnesota Vikings former quarterback Jaron Hall. So that's kind of interesting how everything just kind of like came about there. So the Vikings, they're sitting at 10-2. And or wait, no, are they 12-2? 12-2, sorry. Long season. And then Seattle, I don't even know. I have to check that out here. So yeah, Vikings are 12-2. Seattle's 8-6. So all right. So hopefully it's going to be a good game. And I'm hoping later, since I'm not streaming the entire game, I'm doing the prediction early, obviously. I am hoping to do like a halftime check-in during the game. So if you want to stop by then, hopefully going to be doing a little halftime check-in. But happy everything to everybody too, by the way, whatever you're celebrating. If you're not celebrating, I hope you're having a great time. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Creaky Bulks, Jade, Creaky, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And two, it's a little bit, it doesn't really feel like, I don't know, maybe it's probably with like the holiday season and stuff like that, but it doesn't feel like a Sunday, like game day. I mean, I guess it's a Sunday, but it doesn't really feel like one to me. Maybe because, everybody's doing stuff differently again because of the holiday season and stuff, but I don't know. It feels a little bit off, but not in like a bad way, but it just doesn't really feel like a normal Sunday. Maybe it's because it's not. And also because the Vikings are playing a little bit later. So it's going to kickoff is slated for 3:05 Central Time. But since they're playing in Seattle, like the majority of you know, when I do the astrology prediction, I have to pull it for the time at the location where the game is being played. So I'm going to pull up the chart here in a couple of minutes. And I feel like there's a lot going on in this chart today. I took like so many notes, but I mean, I guess there's a little bit more time to go through all those notes, but not going to like sit here for like 2 hours, anything like that. But we could like peel away, it's like an onion when you're looking at an astrology chart. You can just keep looking and looking and looking for things. And I think it's supposed to be rainy there today. But when I was looking at the chart too, I'm like, is it also supposed to be really, really windy too? So if anybody happens to know that, let me know. Jazzy Jade, good to hear from you. Yeah. Hey, Corey, how are you? Happy holidays, Corey. Good to see you. I thought you were the same because it's the same letter and then the same color on my side. I thought it was the same as Creaky Bolts. So I was like, oh, hi again. But hey, Corey, how you doing? Good to see you. Mars, hi. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am Festivus. So yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, my birthday is tomorrow. So, and Capricorn season, we just happy solstice to everybody. That was yesterday. So now days are officially getting longer or more sunlight, I guess I should say. So happy Capricorn season also to all the Capricorns out there. So make sure to, I'm not going to say hug a Capricorn because, maybe they're, give a Capricorn some money. If you really want to get on the Capricorn's good side, give them a few extra dollars. I mean, we like other things too, but we like money, be loyal, be on time, do your work. Capricorns, we can be a little bit serious, but yeah, thanks, Mars. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And I feel too, it's a little extra holiday festive. We got the, holiday Viking sweater on for today. So, yeah. But anyway, again, happy everything, everybody. Happy solstice. That was yesterday. I hope everybody had a nice one. And then, yeah, so for the game today, I was looking at the chart yesterday. I pulled it up and saw what I could, come up with. And for those of you wondering too, my record this season, I'm struggling. The Vikings record is a lot more than my prediction, a lot better than my prediction record. But I've done all the Vikings games, and then I did do the opening game of the NFL season. That was, I keep having to look, Kansas City and Baltimore. So I've done 15 games and I am 8-7. So and I'm just like, man, last year I went 11-6. So I got some work to do, but we're always learning over here. So happy early B-Day, Jade. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Hope your day goes well and you celebrate the way you want it to be. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully the plan is to do a couple of things, see some family, stuff like that. But yeah, I appreciate that. And honestly, what I really like doing a lot of the time is nothing. Like I love to just chill and do nothing. But yeah, thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to pull up the chart here and share my findings. So I just find it so funny too that Jaren Hall ended up in Seattle. And of course, just in time for the game today. I do want to look up Geno Smith's sign really quickly. I wanted to do that before I started streaming, man, if I feel like I remember correctly, I feel like Jaren Hall is maybe an Aquarius, but I might have to look him up too. Okay, so, so funny. Okay, so Geno Smith is a Libra, and the moon actually is going to move in. It's going to be at 0 degrees of Libra at the start of this game. So the moon is void right now. I'm pretty sure I'd have to look, but she will be entering the sign of Libra later this afternoon. And Geno Smith is a Libra. So interesting there. Okay, and then I want to look up Jaren Hall again really quick. That's interesting about that. Okay, Jaren Hall, he's an Aries. Okay, he's an Aries, fire sign. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share the chart here, people, and we're going to get into it. Let's see. Yeah, last week, I was so kooky, crazy. I picked the Bears to win by 4-5. Vikings won 27, Bears 12. So obviously way off the mark on that one. We'll see how I do this week. But yeah, I'm always learning, people. That's part of it. That's kind of the whole point. But all right, let me share the chart here, and we'll kind of get into it. All right, I kind of liked it like this setting, even though I wish the way I was looking at the chart, but I'm looking over here. All right, so here's the game chart for today. Normally what I do, for those of you that don't know, you might be watching later, whatever, I will look at the ruling planets for each team. And then I also look at the moon. She's the co-ruler of every single chart. She's very, very important. And then I'm going to look at the ruler of the fifth house for each team. There's 12 houses. That's what the circle is made up of, 12 houses. House number 5 has to do with games, entertainment, recreation, sports. So I look at the fifth house and what planet rules that for each team. And then I'm going to look at the 10th house for each team. That's their career, their public image, how they show out to the public. All right. So like I made mention of, later when this game starts, the moon is going to be at 0 degrees of Libra right over here. So I don't exactly know what degree she's at right now, but currently, right now as I'm streaming, she's in the sign of Virgo. So I'm assuming the moon is void right now, and that a void moon means that the moon is not communicating with any other planets until she goes into the next sign. So oftentimes when there's a void moon, it's really a good time to just kind of kick back, relax, wait for her to go active again, because a void moon, if you start something during a void moon, usually nothing will like come of it. So it's kind of interesting too that I'm doing this stream during a void moon. So we'll see what comes of it. But we still have to live our lives, right? But it's usually not best to start something like really, really important during a void moon time, because she's just kind of wandering around, because again, she's not really communicating with like the sun or Saturn or Jupiter. She's kind of doing her own thing. She's wandering. All right. So, and two, when the moon is in Virgo, which is where she's right now before she moves into Libra, it's kind of funny because oftentimes when the moon is in Virgo, Virgo has to do with a lot of things, but like cleaning and health are things that are found with Virgo. So oftentimes when the moon goes into Virgo, people will maybe just like want to clean, or you'll be cleaning and you don't really even realize, oh, and then you look and the moon's in Virgo. And it's kind of funny. I say that because I think a lot of people have been cleaning, like preparing for family to come over and things like that, probably like this morning and like the last couple of days. So that's just kind of funny to think about how it all kind of correlates and aligns up. But anyway, so like I said, the moon will be at 0 degrees of Libra at the start of this game. So that's kind of crazy. Like she's moving right into Libra. And the first thing that the moon is going to do is make a trine, this thick blue line here. A trine is really harmonious communication. It's the best and easiest aspect in astrology is a trine. So it's 120 degrees. And that's going to be a trine to Pluto right over here. Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. That actually bodes well for the Vikings because I'm going to touch on each team now. So the Vikings, they're going to be ruled, the sign that rules them today is Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled traditionally by Mars, and then modern day ruler is Pluto. So Mars and Pluto are going to be both of the planets that represent the Vikings today. Sorry, something just like fell or whatever. I'm like, did my dog get into something? But it's all good. All right. So Mars and Pluto. Funny, Mars is in the chat, and Mars and Pluto are going to be representative of the Vikings today. So those are going to be the two planets. Summer Home, hello. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. And then now for Seattle, they're going to be ruled by the zodiac sign of Taurus. And Taurus is ruled by the planet of Venus. So it's going to be Venus and Mars going at it today, or Venus and Mars and Pluto going at it today. And Venus is right over here in Aquarius. Again, that's going to be the Seattle Seahawks today. They're going to be represented by Venus. And then again, Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. That's one of the planets for the Vikings today. And then Mars is retrograde right now. When planets are retrograde, they are spinning the opposite way than they normally spin. So that can cause these planets to behave a little bit differently than they normally behave. So Mars has been retrograde for a minute. And again, Mars retrograde is going to be the co-ruler of the Vikings today. Now, for the Seahawks now, back to the moon. So the moon at 0 degrees of Libra, like I said, the first interaction she is making is, again, this thick blue line, a trine to Pluto. Again, Pluto is the co-ruler of the Vikings. So I like that straight out of the gate for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, on the flip side, Mars is the lesser malefic planet in astrology. Mars can be a little bit of a meanie. And the fact that Mars is retrograde right now too, there could be something with the Vikings a little bit off the cuff here. Mars also rules our energy, our ambition, our drive, anger, like blood, cutting, things like that. So with Mars retrograde, we'll just kind of have to see if and how that does affect the Vikings. Potentially some sort of maybe injury, like a cut, something like that. Maybe one of the players, or maybe Kevin O'Connell, maybe getting a little bit more angry, maybe a little bit more animated than they normally do. Another thing, potentially the energy, ambition, and drive for the players or the coaches could be kind of like diverted, or going, in an area that we don't normally see a lot of the time. So we'll just kind of, these are just things to potentially look out for. Now, with the Seattle Seahawks, since they are ruled by Venus today, Venus is actually the lesser benefic planet. So the Vikings have one of the harder ones, and then Seattle has a good planet representing them. So straight out of the gate for Seattle, I'm like, well, that's not too shabby. But anyway, so let's see. I'm trying to decide who we want to start with here. All right, so we'll go to the fifth house now for each of these teams, and I'll kind of show you what's going on. There, I feel like there is a lot extra going on because in the last couple of weeks, we've kind of had like clusters of planets in like a certain sign in a certain house. And if you look at this chart here, the planets are all spread out all over the place here. I mean, which is good. I mean, look at all of these lines here we got going on. There's a lot of action here. All right. So for the Seattle Seahawks, their fifth house is in the sign of Leo. That's right here, house number 5. And if you look, I know it's kind of hard to see because the screen is a little small. I'll try to blow it up a little bit there. But if you look, right in Seattle's fifth house of their game is the Minnesota Vikings. Mars is right there. So, boom. The chart is, it's pretty accurate. It usually is, too. It can be very literal at times, astrology can be. So, there we go. Vikings are in the Seattle Seahawks fifth house of games. They're here. They're ready. Get ready. Okay. So Leo is ruled by the sun. So the ruler of the Seattle Seahawks fifth house of their game today, how they're going to play the game, is ruled by the sun. And like I said, we just went into Capricorn season. That means the sun just moved into the zodiac sign of Capricorn. It'll stay there for approximately 30 days. So the sun is at 1 degree of Capricorn. So the sun and Venus, that being again the Seattle Seahawks, they're not interacting at all. Okay. So the ruler of the Seattle Seahawks game and Seattle themselves, they're not doing anything. There's really no, it's like they're there, they're doing the thing. Okay. They're showing up, they're playing the game today, but it might be a little discombobulated for Seattle there. Or just maybe kind of just not clicking on all cylinders there. Okay. And another thing for Seattle that I don't like for them is the fact that the moon, again, the co-ruler of the chart. Okay. Why did that get all blue? There we go. The moon, the co-ruler of the chart, is squaring this thick red line here, is squaring the sun. So again, the sun is Seattle's fifth house of games, the ruler of their game. So some tension there. And with Geno Smith kind of coming off the injury there too, we could kind of look out for that. So now for the Vikings, and then another thing for Seattle that I don't necessarily care for is that Mars and Venus are in kind of like a loose opposition. So they're away from each other. So that's another thing that I don't necessarily like for Seattle either. All right. Now, for the Vikings, their fifth house of games is represented by the zodiac sign of Aquarius. All right. So their fifth house of games is right over here. If you see the circle with the X is the part of fortune. That is what befalls us. It's an Arabic lot. So that is pretty close there, but it's not exactly in their fifth house. But Venus, looky, who is also in the Vikings' fifth house of games today. Just how the Vikings are in the Seattle Seahawks' fifth house of games, Seattle Seahawks find themselves right there in the Minnesota Vikings' fifth house of games. So, again, the chart is very, very literal. But now, Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So for the Vikings today, the rulers of how they play their game are Saturn and Uranus. So I'm going to look and see what Saturn and Uranus are doing with Mars and Pluto and the moon. Because again, Mars and Pluto are the Vikings today, and Saturn and Uranus are the rulers of how they play their game. So we'll start with Saturn. Saturn is right here at 13 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is not doing anything with Mars. They're not doing anything. So even for the Vikings, they could be a little bit off their mark today too, with how they play their game. And again, if I did see or read correctly, I think it's supposed to be rainy there today. And with the moon in an air sign, making communication with Pluto that is also in an air sign, that leads me to believe that the weather is going to be a little bit destructive today during the game. I also could see like a lot of wind. So I don't know if it's actually supposed to be windy or not today. I'm just going to look right now. Weather in Seattle, Washington today. Because I'm just kind of curious. Let's see. Okay, so it is supposed to rain. It looks like. Oh, let's see what the wind is supposed to do. Okay, the wind isn't supposed to be too bad. It's supposed to be about, let's see. Oh, okay. So the wind is not going to be too bad, but it looks like there is going to be some precipitation today. So I don't know. It's just something about the wind again, because of the air sign, the air of it all. But yeah, so I do think it's going to be, the weather could be a little bit of a factor here too, because the moon rules the weather too. And the fact that the first communication that the moon is making is with Pluto, again, in another air sign, and Pluto can be very, very destructive. So that's why I'm thinking that it could be kind of destructive for both teams today, the weather, that being, okay? So again, Saturn and Mars, they're not doing anything for the Vikings. And Saturn and Pluto, it is not doing anything either with one another. So that leads me to believe that, like, are the Vikings going to be a little bit off today with how they play their game? Or are they going to be able to snap into it and get it together eventually? Because again, the ruler Venus of the Seattle Seahawks is in their fifth house of games there. Okay. And then another thing that I do like for the Vikings is that they have Mercury in their first house too. So Mercury is making good communication with Venus. So I do like that for the Vikings. But for back to the Vikings now, because their fifth house is also ruled by Uranus. Uranus is over here in Taurus. It's actually in Seattle's first house here. Uranus is unpredictable. It's surprising. It's unstable. It's an unstable planet, and it's retrograde right now. So Uranus, again, is not doing anything with Pluto, that being the Vikings. Uranus is not doing anything with Mars. So right there, I'm just like some sort of, we're not going to see like the typical Vikings today that we've been seeing. So we'll just kind of have to watch out for that. So I don't really like that for either team, really. So I do kind of feel like for both of these teams, it's going to be a little bit of a trudge today. It's going to be a little bit of like just a trudge is what I'm thinking, like a slop fest. It might be sloppy on both sides here, but they're there. They're showing up. They got to play the game. So it's going to be happening. All right. And how I touched on Mercury in the first house for the Vikings, I'm also going to just touch on Uranus in the first house for Seattle. Again, Uranus is a planet of surprises, of instability. It shakes things up. It's a slow-moving planet. So the fact that it's in Seattle's first house of their physical self, their physical body, and it's also squaring Venus, which rules Seattle today, there's some tension there. I am hoping for all of the players involved that there's like no injury, no like, I'm worried about some sort of like concussion or something to do with like the throat or the neck, because Taurus rules the throat and the neck. And again, Uranus is there's upheaval there. There's surprises, unpredictability, and it's squaring Venus, this red line here. So there is some tension there for that. And again, I'm hoping not for any of the players involved like that. But and Venus represents women too. So I don't know if there's going to be like a woman referee in the game today, or hopefully not like a cheerleader getting injured or anything like that, sideline reporter. But again, these are just things that I'm pointing out to watch out for or to look for. Like if they do happen, be like, oh, okay, that was maybe mentioned there. All right. So I don't like that for Seattle. Now, let's see. Oh, hi Nick, how are you? It's tomorrow. Yeah, my birthday is tomorrow. So it's on the 23rd. I'm Festivus, basically. I am Festivus. I like to say every year now. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's tomorrow. I will absorb these all tomorrow, but I appreciate that. Yes, yes. Yeah, Nick, I know you're a Packer fan. We got Nick, the trickster Gemini, in here and the Packer fan. But good to see you, Nick. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you've been doing well. I appreciate the birthday wishes and good to see you. And it's going to be a good game next week. Looking forward to that one already. I forgot who your Evil to the East play tomorrow, but they got Monday Night Football. Who are they playing again? I forgot. Texas, what's going on? Vikings going to clip the Seahawks wings today. I'm hoping so as a Vikings fan, definitely. And I say this every week too. Good to see you, Texas, by the way. Thanks for stopping in. I say this every week too, but as an astrologer, when I do charts, I have to be objective. And as a Vikings fan, it's an extra challenge for me when I do the charts for Vikings games. And if I do the charts for Timberwolves games too in the past. So it's hard for me to not be subjective, and it's definitely gotten me into trouble in the past. But I have to stay as objective as possible when I look at the chart. But yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done. No, Nick, you have to say that. Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks, Corey. The Saints. Go Saints. Who dat? Who cares? Actually, that's a hard one, the Saints and the Evil to the East, but go Saints. I'm saying that. Get out of here, Nick, with that. Get. But I know you have to say that. Well, I'll answer that back with a big old Skol. All right. All right. So, but I am excited for that game next week. And I wonder too, they got to flex that game, right? Vikings and Evil. They must. But yeah, we'll see. So, it's funny too that the Evil just played the Seahawks. Now they're playing the Saints, and the Vikings are playing the Seahawks, and then the Vikings and the Packers are going to play each other. How the NFL goes around. All right, everybody. So I told you guys about the fifth house for each team here. And then I mentioned both of the planets in each of these teams' first houses, that being Mercury for the Vikings and then Uranus for Seattle today. Now, an interesting thing too about Mercury being in the first house for the Vikings is Mercury rules the signs of Gemini and Virgo. And there are so many predominant Geminis on the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson. So hopefully that means everybody is going to be communicating very well today. And we can hope for that. All right. And I do like actually for the Vikings that Mercury, again, the communication planet, is in a trine. It's a loose trine. But if you see this tiny little blue line here, the easiest way to explain the lines is red is challenging, blue is easy. Okay, so this little, and the thicker that the line is, the tighter that the aspect is. So if you can see, this is a really thick blue line because Pluto's at 0 degrees, making a trine to the moon at 0 degrees. So that's a really tight transit. Both of the moon and Pluto are at the same degree. So the reason why this blue line is a little less thick is because Mercury is at 9 degrees and Mars is at 4 degrees. So those two planets are 5 degrees away from each other, as opposed to both being at the same degree. I hope that makes sense. But I do like that for the Vikings. So I could see if anybody does kind of like get a little hot-headed, like for the Vikings, that, they're going to be able to cool it down. Okay. So I like that for them. Now I'm going to touch on the 10th house for each of these two teams. Again, the 10th house is how they show out to the public today. All right. Or show just in general. Everybody has a 10th house. We all have a birth chart. So your 10th house, again, rules your image, your public image on a bigger scale. And it also rules, again, your reputation and your career. So I'm going to look at that for each team today. Now, for Seattle, their 10th house is represented by the sign of Capricorn. Again, happy Capricorn season to all the Capricorns out there, people. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is over here in Pisces. And Saturn, again, the ruler of the Seahawks' 10th house, of how they show out today, is not doing anything with Venus. If anything, Venus and Saturn are in what's called a semi-sextile. It's a good aspect, but it's very, very, very weak. Probably one of the weakest aspects in astrology. It's when planets are 30 degrees apart. So Venus is at 17 degrees of Aquarius. Saturn is at 13 degrees of Pisces. So they're almost, they're actually 20, math is hard, 26 degrees apart technically. But again, it's very weak aspect. And Saturn is not doing anything with the moon either. And Saturn can bring delays, blockages. It slows things down. It rules older people. It also rules time and karma and things like that. So, it's not doing anything with Venus. And also for Seattle, they have Pluto in the 10th house. And Pluto, again, is one of the co-rulers of the Vikings today. So it's like, I could see some Vikings fans traveling to Seattle today. I could see potentially a lot of purple in the stands today, or maybe a little bit more than we would normally expect. So I do expect, some Vikings fans to definitely make their presence known today. And Pluto can be destructive. What I also kind of find interesting is that Pluto and the Port of Fortune are both at the same degree at the start of this game. And again, Pluto is transformation. It can be destructive energy. It's kind of everything going to ash and then coming up again. So, and the Part of Fortune is what befalls you. So maybe a little bit some sort of crash and burn situation here today. We'll have to stay tuned and see what happens. And then for the Vikings, their 10th house today is ruled by the moon, because their 10th house is right over here, represented by the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is represented by the moon. It is ruled by the moon, rather. So again, the moon is making a very nice, harmonious communication with Pluto, the co-ruler of the Vikings today. So on a bigger level, on a bigger stage, I would expect the Vikings to show their stuff today, to be like, all right, we're here. We're going to make our presence known. And also, so the moon is making its first communication with Pluto. And then after she moves along saying hey to Pluto, the next communication she's going to make is with Mars. Again, Mars is the co-ruler of the Vikings today. This little blue line right here, they're going to be in a sextile. That's when planets or the luminaries are 60 degrees away from one another. It's a weaker aspect again, but it's positive. It's good. So I think everybody, or I want to say probably a lot of people, expect the Vikings to win today. I could see that also with, the planets that are, everything that I've kind of explained that's going on here. So, all right, I am going to do the prediction now. But before I do that, I just want to, this is kind of something that I've started doing, and then I'm like, I don't think that that's a bad idea. I do kind of want to what's the best way to say this? I want to say, I'm going to do the prediction and say who I think is going to win. But then I also want to give examples on if it were to go the other way. If the other team was to win, this is why I think that would be. That was a little bit of a word salad, but I hope you guys understand. Like last week, for example, I did pick Chicago to win. Chicago didn't win. The Vikings won. But during the Planetary pregame, I was explaining, well, if the Vikings are the ones that are going to win this game today, it's going to be, I think, because of this. So examples like that. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble and ramble and ramble. I know it can get just so out there, but I'm trying to get better at explaining it and share what I know. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. That's really good. It's getting a little cold. Because I have a mug warmer that I love, but you got to have the flat surface on the bottom, and this mug has just a little bit of a dent there, so the mug warmer doesn't exactly get it like it should. But shout out again to my mug warmer and to the tea and to all of you hanging out. Okay, so, all right, let me do the prediction here. So, my prediction is that the Vikings will win today. That the Vikings will win by let's see. I originally had 4 points written down, but I usually like to give like a spread. And it's already really, really challenging to pick the winner or the loser of each team using the astrology. And it's like another level to try to get like, okay, what's the point spread gonna be? So let's see. I'm gonna say, yeah, 4 to 5 points. I'm actually gonna write that down before I forget in my notebook. All right. So, posted prediction, and I'm going to write it down too for you guys to see. Okay. There we go. All right. So, I am picking the Vikings to win today by 4 to 5 points. And that's so funny. I had that last week too, but I had the Bears. That's so weird. I forgot about that. That's why I have to write all the notes, because otherwise I forget. All right, so there we go. Vikings win by 4 to 5 points, and I'll just tell you guys how I came up with the point spread for today. And again, this is something that I'm really trying to because everything is patterned. So I'm just trying to look for the pattern that is going to show me the points. So the way I came up with that today is because the moon is at 0 degrees of Libra, and it's trining Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And again, Pluto is the co-ruler of the Vikings today. But the traditional ruler of Scorpio, which is representative of the Vikings today, is Mars. So Mars is at 4 degrees of Leo. The moon is at 0 degrees of Libra. The moon will move to make communication with, Mars at 4 degrees, 4 points. And then how I got the spread for today was that Mercury in the Vikings' first house today, which is also kind of like another ruler of them in a sense, just how Uranus is another ruler of Seattle today. Mercury is at 9 degrees. Mars is at 4 degrees. 9 minus 4 is 5. So that's kind of how I came up with the point spread today. And I still just haven't seen any consistency yet on my end with the point spread. Like I kind of think like, oh, okay, it's going to be the moon and this planet that'll give me the points. But then every week it kind of changes. So again, I'm still trying to look for a pattern on that. So I could be way off with the points. So sometimes it happens. Like sometimes I get them both right on the money where I got the winner or the loser right. And then I got the point spread right. And then sometimes I'm right on one or the other. Sometimes I'm way off. So it's all across the board. So consistency. We want consistency over here. So again, I am picking the Vikings to win by 4 to 5 points today. Swerve, what do you got? The Vikes 2-8 in Seattle the last 10 games. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. And Swerve, good to see you. And thanks for saying that, because it's bringing me now to my new thing that I want to try to remember to do is, again, after picking the winner, my prediction again is the Vikings today. But to Swerve's point, Vikings haven't fared too well in Seattle in history's past and in games past. And I kind of want to point out some things that if and when Seattle were to win today, this is why I think that. Okay. But yeah, so I'm going to get to that. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. Back at you. Haven't seen your show in a long time. Okay. Well, happy to have you. Thanks for coming back. I'm pretty much only doing like one stream a week over here now. But hopefully going to do more. Work's just been kind of busy. And then also trying to get a different place. So it's just like outside life has just been a little bit busy, but hopefully, and I feel like I say that all the time, like I want to be on here more, but hopefully in the future I'll be around some more. And after the NFL season is over and I do the Super Bowl prediction, this will be my 4th year doing Super Bowl predictions. And hopefully maybe go into some NBA and some Timberwolves stuff after the Viking season is over. I did the NBA finals last year. I did the prediction on that. I missed one of the games, but all the other games I did, I got them all right. So I was really proud of myself there with the NBA finals last season. Oh yeah, actually in my notes here, I got it from June, which is crazy that they're playing basketball in June. Yeah, game 5. See, this is why you got to take notes, people, because then you can go back and check your receipts. Okay. But anyway, just think only 18 games played since 1976 between the Vikes and Seahawks. That's wild, actually, to think about. That is crazy. Yeah, that's wild. And I love Seattle's colors. And I don't even know who their coach is anymore, but I like Pete Carroll a lot. I like his the gum gnawing, the look, the attitude. I like all of that. I know he's not the coach there anymore, but I always find it to be kind of fun and a little bit, it's kind of like for the Vikings. I feel like when they go to Chicago or go to Seattle, it's similar when they go to Chicago. Things just kind of get weird. And again, I do kind of think weather is going to play a factor in this game today. It could make both teams maybe their game a little bit off, maybe a little bit sloppier than we've seen. Yeah, that's insane. I did not know that. Yeah. Swerve coming in with the facts. I love it. And the Wild, I think they're still doing well, right? They were like the best team in the league there for a second. Swerve, you can tell us how our Wild are doing, right? Gullin. Am I saying that right? Gullin? Gullin. It's Gullin, right? Like Gullin, like a ghoul. Skol Astrology. Yeah, I like that. I like that. A Skolology. A Skolology. I like it. We got to work with that. We come up with some really good ideas here. That's awesome. No, what? I better stop talking about them then. Damn it. I feel that way about the Vikings. Whenever, last year, I swear, whenever I talked really nice about a player, the next week they just go and F shit up. And I'm like, damn it. I got to stop doing that. Damn. Well, they'll come back. It's all right. How did they do? I think the last I heard about the Wild was when they were playing either in Edmonton or Edmonton was here. I think that was a couple days ago, but they'll come back. I know. It's okay. At least the Vikings are doing well, right? So we got that going for us. Okay. All right. So now, if shit hits the fan today for the Vikings, this is why I think that will happen. All right. Oh, I take that as a compliment. What's wrong with being a queen? Nothing wrong with that. Queens, right? The kings and queens. There's got to be a king. Then who's the king? If the Vikings are queen, then who's the king? Well, I guess we don't need a king, just like Elizabeth, the second of England. She was just a queen the whole entire time, right? So the Vikings are the rulers of the league. That's what Nick is saying. Thank you, Dick. Yay! Excellent. All right. So now, if shit hits the fan today for the Vikings and Seattle ends up winning, all right, this is why I think that. I think that because Seattle has Saturn in their 12th house. Now, Saturn rules Seattle's 10th house of how they show out to the public today. And it also is the lord of them because Venus is the ruler of Seattle today. Venus is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So the lord of Seattle today is Saturn. Again, Saturn rules their 10th house of how they show up to the public today. Saturn is in Seattle's 12th house. Saturn likes to be in the 12th house. The 12th house is what's hidden away. Institutions, it's isolation, hospitals, things like that. Mental illness, spirituality is found in the 12th house. Also, what is found there is hidden enemies. Okay, so Seattle has Saturn there. Again, Saturn likes to be in the 12th house. He likes to be there because he's a little droll. He likes those things. mental illness, isolation, sadness. Saturn likes those things because that's kind of Saturn a little bit. Saturn is dark and cold, and there can be some melancholia and depression attached with Saturn. So, and Saturn rules time. And I have found when Saturn plays a big role in astrology charts, now Saturn is not playing a huge role, in my opinion, today in the chart, but when Saturn has come into play in astrology charts, I have seen this pattern, and I feel like I do say this every week because Saturn is a big player in astrology, so we often talk a lot about Saturn. Saturn, when it comes to games, I have seen it play out where a team will either win or lose as time expires. I have seen that a handful of times when Saturn comes into play. And again, Saturn rules older people, crafty veterans, people that have been around for a while. So if Seattle does end up winning this game today, I do think that it will be coming down to the wire, coming down to a time issue, and potentially older players on the roster, older coaching members of the coaching staff, like older people, again, like older people, will come into play today for them. All right. And another thing, if Seattle does win today, I do think it will also have to do with how the ruler for them is Venus, and Venus is in good aspect with Jupiter. Venus is the lesser benefic planet in astrology, and Jupiter is the greater benefic in astrology. So, but again, I am picking the Vikings to win by 4-5. We will see how it goes, but those are some of my reasons. All right, Swerve, hoping for a 3 to 4 point win today. All right, I would take that because I would get the points right and I'd get the team that won right. So I would take it. And as a Vikings fan, I want them to keep winning, obviously. So nice. Very good. So thanks for everybody for hanging out during Planetary pregame. I'm going to stop sharing now. And then just a heads up too, I am planning on popping in at halftime just to say hi, to see how it's going. And then maybe afterwards too. I'm kind of going to have to see like with where I'm at. But yeah, so cause I'm doing a little bit of traveling, actually after I'm done with the stream. So anyway, that's why I'm doing the prediction earlier. And then that's why I can't do the full stream later. Because I'm not bringing my streaming studio with me, but hopefully maybe doing a little halftime check-in, like potentially either, on my laptop, maybe or on my phone. So hopefully I will pop in later and maybe I'll see you guys at the half. All right, but now time to just chit chat here for a little while. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed watching Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Crazy. I almost like watching her more than some NBA games. That's crazy because I think the numbers for the NBA are down. Like, they're down. And the numbers for the WNBA are going up. Congrats to Caitlin Clark too on winning like Athlete of the Year, Sports Illustrated Athlete of the Year. So go Caitlin Clark. I think it's great for the WNBA. I think it's awesome. And yeah, it's been really, really fun. And it's so crazy too. I should funny you mentioned that, Nick, because I should actually try to see if I can find Caitlin Clark's birth chart and maybe do like some sort of like deep dive on her chart in general, because I mean, she is just this like dominating force and obviously amazing athlete. I wonder if her birth information is available online. That would be actually a really cool chart to look at. I've looked at like one of the big athletes that I've looked at like in depth, looked at their birth chart was Michael Jordan. His was fun. LeBron James, I know he's a Capricorn, like me. And it's also kind of funny with LeBron James that Capricorn placements can be referred to as like, because they're ruled by Saturn and like the king, like kings and queens oftentimes of the zodiac, just kind of like how Leo can be too. But what's funny with Capricorn specifically is like how they're known as like the greatest of all time, the goats, right? And Capricorn were represented by the sea goat or the mountain goat. And with the whole king factor too, LeBron James, he's known as King James. He's a Capricorn. Elvis was a Capricorn. He's known as the king of rock and roll. Martin Luther King Jr., also a Capricorn. So it's just kind of crazy how all of that stuff, like, you know, astrology can be very literal. I wonder if we found her birth chart here. I don't think we have a time. Darn, we don't have a time. Ah, darn it. Oh wait, okay, I'm looking at a different Caitlin Clark. Okay, that's a different Caitlin Clark. Let's look at this website and see. Oh, here. Do we have a time? Oh, Caitlin Clark is an Aquarius. Oh, she's got a really cool birthday, actually, just in numerology. Get this. She was born on January 22nd of 2002. 2222. That right there. I want to know more numerology, but like with that like consistent pattern of the 2222, that in itself right there is very powerful. I don't think we have a time. We don't have a time for her, I don't think. Darn it. Time unknown. She was born, yeah, she's a sun in Aquarius, and she's got a Taurus moon. Wow. A Taurus moon is a very, very, very dominant and a very good placement. Anybody that has a Taurus moon, the moon rejoices in the sign of Taurus. Taurus rules the finer things in life, like luxury, food, nice clothes, fabrics, and fibers, and yeah, so she's got all that money now from all that hard work. So, man, we got to figure out her time when she was born. Caitlin, tell us when you were born. Tell us what time. And she wears the number 22 too. That makes sense why she wears number 22. She was born on the 22nd. And she's a sun in Aquarius. You know who is also a sun in Aquarius? Very good basketball player, Michael Jordan. So, and Aquarius is an air sign, and Michael Jordan, known as Air Jordan. So, yeah, very cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to put the SOS out to, anybody that we can. Her people, we got to put it out on Twitter. We got to get that birth time for her to do her chart. That would be so cool to do that, to look at that a little bit more in depth. Sorry, my hair is kind of driving me crazy here today, people. So, I love your interpretation of what I was saying. You're welcome. Very good. How do you figure out what team has what house? So that's just, how do I answer that the best, least confusing way? So when you look at an astrology chart, every house represents something else. So the first house in astrology, there's 12 houses in astrology. So the first house is the only house that actually rules like our physical self, our physical body. So like my first house in astrology rules me, and the ruler of the zodiac sign is what's known as your chart ruler. So just like for eunuch, like whatever your first house is in your birth chart, that's what house rules you, yourself, your physical body. Every other house rules other things. So when I do the charts, the way that I read them for two teams going at it, now other astrologers could read it differently, but in my studies and what I've found in like books that I've read and listening to like lectures and things, it's basically every astrologer, you look for the patterns and you got to figure out what works for you. So like, for example, the 4th house and the 10th house rule parents. They also rule other things, but for the point of this conversation, the 4th house and the 10th house rules your parents. Now, some astrologers will put the 4th house as your mother and the 10th house as your father. Other astrologers will do the opposite, where the 4th house is the father The 10th house is the mother. That's actually how I read charts. I will put the father 4th house and the mother as the 10th. Other astrologers will flip it and do it differently. Now, when it comes to opposing teams going at it, that's where I can answer your question here, Nick. And I know it's a long-winded answer, but so the first house, how I read the charts, represents the home team. Now, in astrology, the 7th house rules open enemies and other people. So then when I'm looking at the chart, the visiting team will be ruled by the 7th house. So that's how I come to that. Now, again, in books that I've read, in lectures that I've listened to, some other astrologers will do it opposite, where they will do the home team as the 7th house and the visitor as the 1st house. But ever since I've started doing predictions, and I started doing them, like posting them, I guess you could say, like about 4 years ago when I made my first Super Bowl prediction. So I've been using the home team as the 1st house, the visitor as the 7th. And that's just the system that I've been using. And that's what I've found works best for me. But again, I'm always learning and stuff like that. So I hope that answers your question, but I know that's very long-winded, but I just like to share what I know. And anyway. And then for example, I'll just go through all the houses really quickly. So 1st house, again, rules yourself, your physical body. And these houses rule other things too, but this is just like a really quick overview. The 2nd house in astrology rules your money, what you owe, what you own. The 3rd house in astrology rules your neighbors, short distance travel, mental communication. 4th house rules where you're from, your roots. 5th house rules fun, games, entertainment, children. The 6th house rules health, pets, coworkers, people that work for you. The 7th house rules other people, open enemies. The 8th house rules other people's money, debts, taxes, property. The 9th house rules far, long distance travel, higher learning. The 10th house rules your career, your public image. Your 11th house rules your friends, your groups, your communities. And then the 12th house rules hidden enemies, isolation, institution, things that are hidden away from you. So those are all 12 houses just in a nutshell. But anyway, a lot more other things are found in each house. But I mean, if you want to find something specific, like I want to look at what house rules my uncle's, or let's just say my child's pet, you could find that. You would go to the 5th house, that's your child, and then you would go from your child's 5th house, you would count 6 houses because that would be the child's 6th house. The 6th house is where you find pets. So you can find, and if you want to, your uncle or your cousin, you would then go to, I want to find my dad's sister. So you'd go to, for me, the father rules the 4th house. Siblings are found in the 3rd house. So you'd go to house number 4 for your dad, and then you'd count 3 houses, with 4 being 1, 5 being 2, and 6 being 3. That's the house then where your dad's sister would be found. Things like that. All right. Skol Vikings, let's go. Vikings news today. Fans, I love that. Spectacular Sunday, Skol. I love that. Skol back at you. Let's go Vikes. Yes, yes. Summer home, bye. Have a happy birthday tomorrow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hi, Jesse. How are you doing? Happy Sunday back at you. This is earlier than usual. Yeah. Just because I'm going to be doing a little traveling after the stream today. So I wanted to get the prediction in. And then since I'm not bringing all of my streaming stuff with me, I'm hoping to do a halftime check-in during the game. So hopefully I'll see you later. That wasn't what the original plan was, but I kind of had to wait to see what the weather was going to do too, to be honest. I know you know how that goes, Jesse, out there driving, and just in general. But yeah, so that's why I'm doing that. So hopefully maybe see you at halftime too, but hope you're doing well, Jesse. Good to see you. That would be a cool chart to look at. She's an amazing competitor. Yeah, and it's funny too. I didn't know that she was an Aquarius, and Michael Jordan's also an Aquarius. And Aquarius being ruled by Saturn, like us Capricorns, it can be very like hard-headed and tough, and Saturn is what's in it for the long haul. So that's why a lot of people that are ruled by Saturn too, a lot of the times, like you'll find that they live very, very long. Like a good example that comes straight to my mind is Betty White. She was a Capricorn. She was almost 100 years old, right? So, and I think actually, no, the oldest person I think that ever lived, I think she was either a Capricorn or a Pisces. She was this woman that I think she lived to like 120 or something like that, and she was born in France. I looked at that chart, and I think she was either a Pisces or Capricorn, but yeah. Plus all the other stuff going on. Yeah, 22 is her number. That's crazy. I used to wear 22 in basketball too. Obviously not to Caitlin Clark's level. Corey, your thoughts on Falcons supposedly? Oh my gosh, Corey, I'm so happy that you asked me about that. Okay, I have a little bit of time here. What time is it? Okay, yeah, I have like 10 minutes at least. Oh my God. How have I not talked about that yet? Pizza Ranch Robot Boy after this season. Oh my God. If Kevin Stefanski stays in Cleveland, I predict him signing him. He can also replace the fiance with the Jets. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I am not going to lie. When I heard that they were cutting Pizza Ranch Boy for what's his face, Bo Nix, I just wanted to be like, okay. For years and years and years, people told me how mean I was because I said the Vikings were never going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins under center. He has a ceiling. He can only take this team so far. And at one point in time, I said that he should be benched. Oh, Jane, you're mean. The proof is in the pudding, okay? He has not been good. He has not been good. So, I mean, I don't blame the Falcons at all. It almost would have been a little bit questionable if they didn't bench him. I mean, how many interceptions did he throw in like how many games? He didn't throw a touchdown for like 6 games. And it's just like, dude, it is what it is. It is what it is. But good for the Falcons for seeing the writing on the wall, because I could just see, like, for example, if he was still with the Vikings, them just being like, oh, he just had a bad week. Oh, he just had a bad week again. Oh, he just had it. It's like, goodbye, done and dusted. And it's like, you know what, Kirk? You know what? I hope that money was worth it there, buddy boy. Hope that money was worth it. You can probably like smirk, all the way from the bench. Okay. So I think, and you know what? For Kirk, he got paid. He got his money. But, the reputation. Do you actually care about your reputation? Do you care? Or whatever. And I heard some of his answers, after he was benched or whatever, and they asked him about it. And it's just like, you reap what you sow there, man. You reap what you sow. Honestly, I enjoyed the schadenfreude of it all. I did. I did. And this is better. Like, I wasn't happy, like, when he got injured. I don't want to see any player get injured because that's just evil. In my opinion. But like the fact that he got benched, like, well, you know what? You're not making the cut here. You're not making the cut. And they're not playing games. Enough is enough. So good for them for seeing the writing on the wall, and they're taking the hit in their pockets money-wise. But yeah, and that's interesting too, point that you make, Corey, about him potentially going back with Kevin Stefanski. So yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. And part of me actually thinks that he might be done. Like, I think that he might be done. Because I just don't see enough competitive spirit for him to like keep doing that. And especially the fact that now he actually did get benched. So it's just like, yeah, Kirk, you're not better than being benched here. Okay. So that might be embarrassing enough for him to just scamper out of the league. But I mean, if a team is available or needs a quarterback and he's available and the money looks right, then yeah, I could see him taking it because, he's already been benched at this point. So it's just more money for him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He only cares about the money. He doesn't actually care about winning. Because, what did he say? It's not about the money. It's about what the money represents. Okay, so what does it represent? You playing like shit? him getting benched. I almost feel bad for Falcons fans. Almost. But not quite. You're welcome, Nick. You're welcome anytime. I like answering the questions. I think I would pick the second team as the home team because that's how it is read, Saints at Packers. I think the seventh house is home. Yeah, I mean, if you were an astrologer and you wanted to do that, yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I would read that as Saints at Packers. So I would read that as the Saints are the visitors. They're the open enemies. They're the open enemies, the opponents. And that's what the seventh house represents. The seventh house does not represent home. But I mean, again, anybody can read it however they want. I don't have the book either. It's in the other room, but I was gonna show you the one of the main books that I've read of yeah, it's not in here. I forget 2 astrologers wrote it, but anyway. But yeah, again, to each their own. Yeah. Space, Skol. Let's go Seattle. Yeah, I hope it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a good game too. I do think it's gonna be pretty close. I'm looking forward to see Penix start. Oh my gosh. I'm actually looking forward to just seeing the shot of Kirk on the bench or him just standing there with the little earbud in. Again, the schadenfreude of it all for me. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing? How was church? Watching how the Vikings bring back. No, don't say that. Oh, as a backup? No, I don't know. Can't we be done? We're done. He's gone. He's gone. Please don't bring him back. No. Not even as a backup. No, we have Daniel Jones now. We have Nick Mullins. We don't need to worry about it. Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for joining. Kirk's soul studied hard. Its life path before being born in this money-hungry slave prison planet. That too. Yeah. And, Kirk, I don't know his whole chart, but I know he's a sun in Leo. And Leos can be very, very, very prideful. I'm very prideful. And when their pride and their ego is tarnished or they are put on display to be made fun of in some sort of sense. I mean, nobody really likes that per se, but I could see like a Gemini taking that like a lot easier. For example, like some sort of like public mockery or something, because Gemini could give it back, because they're very witty. But again, we have all zodiac signs within us. But so Kirk's sun sign is in Leo. And Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun represents who we are at our core. And Leo, again, is very prideful, and they are often the stars. They are often they're often found in entertainment or in the spotlight and things. But if they are in the spotlight for a reason that is not too good, like being benched, that probably hurt his ego quite a bit. That's just why I could see that, like, that could be enough for him to just, like, scamper off. But I could also see it being like, well, I don't want to let them know that, my pride got that tarnished by that sort of thing. But I have a Leo rising, so, and just if you know any Leos in your life, like, for example, and a lot of Leos that don't like the spotlight on them, like they're maybe more shy, they like to shine their spotlight or put their sun on other people. So I've found that with Leo placements too. But yeah, the money hungry. Yeah, this is where the tinfoil hat, this is where we do sports stars and beyond, right? Like, don't even get me talking about like the drones and stuff like that. Because too, I remember like, this must have been 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, at one of my aunt's birthday parties. I told one of my other aunts at the time, I was like, if there is any sort of like alien invasion, it's fake. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's not real. And she was just like, Jade, you're scaring me. And I was like, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm sorry. But that was just like 4 years ago. And now look at where we are. So Kirk made out pretty good though. Oh my God, I know he did. So, I mean, his pocketbook, he's smiling all the way to the bank. And I've said that for years too. And I think he's probably got the best agent in the league. Gosh, what is that dude's name again? I always forget his name. I'm going to think of it. But oh, I just had it again. His agent's name. I don't remember, but yeah. I mean, so he's laughing all the way to the bank. Church was good, and after I saw Kirk up and close in person, no, I am good without him. You gotta admit the chaos would be awesome. Oh, well, yes, it would. That the fodder would be very fun, Ryan. It would be very fun, yeah. And when he got booed at US Bank Stadium, like, honestly, I said this during the stream, like, I would not have booed him. I would have been rejoicing that he's gone. Hey, you're on Atlanta now. Woohoo! You're not here anymore. Yeah. Like, I was so glad that experiment was done and dusted. Space, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. Tomorrow, again, I am Festivus, people. Happy Festivus, too, to those of you that celebrate tomorrow. Oh, yes. A lot of them do. That's kind of what I found. Either they crave it or they want to put that attention on somebody else. Like, they want to give somebody else that attention too. And Leos like that too. They love giving affection because they like it back. Like, they'll give it and put it out because they're like, oh, I want that back now. Like, give me that back. But yeah, they definitely do. They're prideful. Yeah, that's okay. Nothing against the Leos. Every sign's got its good and bad, right? And again, we all have, because we have all 12 houses, everybody does, and all 12 signs represent something. So Leo represents something for all of us. It rules a house for every single one of us. For me, I'm a Leo rising, so it rules my first house. So I'm a sun in Capricorn. So the fact that I have a Leo rising, Leo is ruled by the sun. My sun sign is in Capricorn. That is my chart ruler. So that's how you can figure out your chart ruler too, is looking at the ruler of your rising or first house, and whatever sign it's in, that's your chart ruler. So, like, I have a friend that's a Scorpio rising. So he is ruled, his chart ruler is his Mars and Pluto. All right. Anyway. Geminis can't be trusted, two-faced people. Well, Gemini, yeah, it's the twins. So there's two sides. So it's kind of funny too. We can use Kevin O'Connell as an example of that. And even Mike Zimmer, because they're both Geminis. Kevin O'Connell, we call him Kevin O'Connell over here. But then even he says, well, I have a side. I can be kind of testy. I can kind of get, It's like, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Two sides. So, yeah. But sometimes they can be a little two-faced, yeah. But Geminis, they're ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is the trickster. Mercury is the trickster, and it rules communication. So oftentimes Geminis are very witty, very funny, very good with words, usually maybe good with their hands, or can multitask, or maybe take on two things, or maybe two personalities, two sides. So you're so funny, Jade. I love it. That's funny. That's funny. The fact that I'm funny is funny. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that. Oh, Kingdom jersey. I still need a Kingdom jersey, damn it. Nice. Which helped me get through the Pizza Ranch era, reminding me of better times. I love that. That's perfect. That's chef's kiss on the robot Pizza Ranch boy pie there. Case Keenum, we miss you. Please come back. And also, how ironic is it that the whole Sam Darnold situation is basically turning into like the Case Keenum situation 2.0? Because oh no, the Vikings, we can't keep Sam Darnold. Oh no, he's only led the team now to a 12-2 season. Oh, just like Case Keenum did, led the team to a 13-3 season, one game away from the Super Bowl. But oh no, you're not good enough to stay here. We have to bring on Kirk. Why? For nothing. For a wasted 6 years. Said it the whole time, and I'm still saying it now. Keenum, we miss you. Yeah, exactly. Good luck and I think Kirk would be a great motivational speaker, or like a pastor, or like a preacher, or something like that. I think he would be very good at that. But yeah, I cheer more for Kirk now too, that he's not on the team anymore. Oh yeah, God, what is his name? I just had it again. He could be watch him be a Capricorn for sure. Yeah. Climbing up that mountain, getting that money, making those business deals. Because Capricorn is business and governments and money too. So Drew Rosenhaus. Why doesn't that name sound familiar? It's like, not saying that you're wrong, Corey, but I feel like it's, shit, I just had it again. Damn it. It's like, it sounds like the name of like a player too. Oh, shit. What is it? Maybe. I feel like that's not right though. Next time I look for a job, I should, right? He's probably pretty expensive, but yeah. Mike McCartney. That's who it is. Mike McCartney, because he sounds like the coach, Mike McCarthy. Yes, yes. Thank you, Swerve. Is he snake-eyed or is he just that good? I wonder if we can find out his birthday. Let me look it up quick. Ooh, and then I do have to sign off, you guys, because I gotta go. But hopefully I see you guys later. Again, I am gonna try to pop in at halftime. Mike McCartney, agent. Yes. What's his birthday? Faith-driven athlete. Oh my God. Faithdrivenathlete.org. Wow, he's been an agent for more than 20 years. Birthday date. I need it. Shut up. Oh, wait. No, this is a different guy. This is, okay, because the first Mike McCartney that came up in Wikipedia, oh, a Capricorn, but it's the wrong one. Damn it. What's his birthday? Damn, I don't think I can find it. Let me go to his website. Here, I'll share with you guys quick because we got time. All right. And then I gotta go. Faith-driven athlete. Well, no wonder. Okay, because Kirk is very, he's a man of faith. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that. All right. Where is his birthday? So here's his website. Oh, this must be him. Here he is. This guy. Oh, can you guys see my pointer? This guy. That must be him. Damn, I don't know. About? No, we need to figure out his birthday. Oh, he's got a podcast. All right. Anyway, I can't find his birthday right now. I need to grab the fence pulled down from the crawl space. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. Who's ready for the feats of strength? George? Just kidding. Yeah. All right. Oh, which sign doesn't like the spotlight? Oh, it's funny you mentioned Scorpios. Scorpios are very private and hidden a lot of the time. I guess actually I probably would have to say Scorpio. They're very, very private. Very, very private. And they really like pick and choose. Like they have to like know you before they're going to divulge any information too, because they're really good information keepers and they're really good at like, they're kind of sneaky and like behind the scenes and hidden a little bit. Scorpios, trying to think what else, who else? I want to maybe say like Pisces, not Pisces per se, just because Pisces in astrology naturally rules the 12th house. But I know a lot of Pisces that are very like boisterous and things like that. But it's usually after they've had a couple of like drinks or two. They're a little bit more reserved too, like Pisces. They can be, but this first that comes to my mind actually is Scorpio, just because they're very, very private, very, very private people. And not saying that other signs aren't, but yeah, and they're more behind the scenes. They kind of stay behind the scenes, hidden a little bit. So yeah, I'd probably have to say Scorpio, but that's a really good question. And then on to Space's question. Scorpios, they again, they're very, very good at like looking into your soul and knowing everything about you without, really even having a lot of conversations with you. They will remember a lot of really, really, really like finite details about things. Again, they're very private people. They're a water sign, so they're naturally intuitive too. Maybe have a lot of experiences with the other side and things like that. With Scorpios. And for Scorpio too, if you betray them, like especially if you get to the point of having a Scorpio trust you, and you betray them, they will not forget that. They can hold grudges too a little bit. at times. But I like every sign though too, and I get along really, really well with Scorpios. He's a keeper. I signed him to a nicer contract. You mean Kirk? Ah! Oh my gosh, whatever. Just don't have him come back to Minnesota though. Thank you. Yes. It's always a Festivus for the rest of us because it's my birthday. But thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you. Skol Vikings, let's go. Jade, just like the gemstone that shares your name. Yes, I actually have a jade necklace on. I know a lot of you don't really see it, but I always have this on. Yeah, it's got a dragon and a peacock. It's got a peacock on this side. You guys kind of see it? See the peacock head? And then the other side is a dragon. I know it's kind of hard to see, but yeah. You bring a special glow with your attention and words in the chat. Thank you. Creating a captivating atmosphere. Lots of light and energy on your channel. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. That is so kind. I love that. Thank you, Skol Vikings. Thank you. It's Sammy gets us to the Super Bowl. Woo! Trade McCarthy for top 3 draft picks for cornerbacks. I support that. I support. And honestly, nothing against John, because that's what I call JJ now. Good night, John boy. And it's so funny. I was saying during the preseason how that was going to be my thing for McCarthy. Would be like, if ever he goes down or something, it's going to be good night, John boy. Because his first name is John. It's like John, I don't remember his middle name, but so John. It's like, how do we know that he's going to come back and be this, like, you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket. I feel like it's the same thing with Kirk again, like coming back from the injury, even though he's played before and McCarthy hasn't. Like, why are you putting all of your eggs in that basket? The basket has holes in it. Okay. So I support that idea, actually. Like, why not use him for trade bait? So anyway, I'm going to get through the rest of these and then peace out. Well, see you at the halftime. See you at half. Going to watch, a Lethal Weapon movie. Yesterday was my grandma's. Oh, nice. Happy birthday to your grandma, Ryan. Awesome. She loved Mel Gibson. Was your grandma's birthday? Well, hopefully she's having a wonderful birthday wherever she is, and she will always be remembered in a good light. She loved Mel Gibson. So I think your grandma, depending on the time she was born, because again, it was the solstice. That's when we go from Sagittarius to Capricorn season. So depending on the time, she was either a Sagittarius or a Capricorn. But I don't know. I got a little feeling she was maybe Capricorn, but maybe not. But funny you mentioned Mel Gibson, because I think Mel Gibson is a Capricorn. I could be wrong, but let me check that really quick. And then I gotta go. All right. Yeah, Mel Gibson's a Capricorn too. He's one of our people. All right, we're all over the place. That's Capricorns. All right. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. Cheers. Happy everything to you. Yeah, Corey, you're a Scorpio. You're very private and stuff. You can relate. Yes. Well, they're very good. Thank you for the feedback, Corey, from a Scorpio. We can get the information there. And yeah, Corey, if you have anything like that you feel is just like very Scorpio and you feel like you want to share that is very Scorpion, definitely let us know. But yeah, that's one thing that I think of like straight away for Scorpios is they can be very private people. Not a bad thing at all, But yeah, we like our Scorpio friends. Yes, we do. Very good. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, everybody. But you can't overpay for Darnold either. I would agree with that. Yeah, because you need money to build. Yeah, I want them to build around JJ. My grandma is smoking a healthy alternative to Carlton cigarettes. What is that about, Ryan? What do you mean? Vaping? Well, I don't know if that's necessarily healthy, but yeah, I think that they should. Obviously, Darnold has earned his money, and maybe they will offer something to Darnold, and he won't want to stay. I mean, but I don't know. He doesn't really seem like the type that's going to be like, well, no, there's more money over here, even though it's going to be a complete shit show as opposed to staying over here. I just feel like he's a little bit more a man of integrity per se. But your grandma sounds really cool, Ryan. I love the older people. Thanks, Corey. Bye, Jazzy Jade. Great chatting. Back at you, Corey. Good to see you. See you on the flip. Peace out. You're the tops. Yep. Stay the bees and knees, Corey. All right. Oh, she's passed. Okay. Oh, of course. Always watching. Yes, definitely. Always with us, just in a different way, right? But not the same. But yeah, the main thing I think too for people that have passed is, just always remembering in good light and the good memories too. But man, sometimes it's like you think about somebody that's no longer here and you just like lose it, a little bit. But yeah, rest in peace and power to your grandma, Ryan. I bet she's a really cool lady. I know, a legit Minnesota goodbye. A legit. Yes. Can you tell? On that note, everybody, I think this is a good way to end off on. I did want to end 10 minutes ago, but it happens. Just because you guys are all fun to chat with. So I appreciate you, but I'm going to get going on my next adventure. And yes, hopefully I'll see you guys at about whatever time halftime is. Okay. So we'll see what happens. We'll have to revert back to the Planetary pregame notes. And yeah, go from there. So thanks again, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your Sunday morning. Appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for the kind notes, compliments, and the birthday wishes. You guys are the best. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys later, okay? You too, Swerve. Thank you. Yes, appreciate that. All right, everybody. Take care, okay? Bye for real this time.